That check engine light glowing on your dashboard right now, 9 times out of 10, you can shut it off yourself today in about 30 seconds without spending a single dollar and without driving down to a shop that charges you $100 just to plug in a scanner and tell you what a $10 part could have told you for free. Because here's what almost nobody realizes. Your car has a hidden reset button, a real one. It's been sitting under your hood this entire time, and the people who built your car never labeled it, never mentioned it, and never told you what it can do. Once I show you where it is, you will never look at that check engine light the same way again. But, and I need you to hear this before you go touching anything, there is one specific moment when hitting this reset is the worst thing you can possibly do. It can actually cost you money and hide a real problem from you. So stick with me, because I'm going to show you exactly how to tell the difference, and it takes about 10 seconds to check. Let me tell you about a fella named Dave who came into my shop last year. Good guy. His check engine light had popped on, he got nervous, and he took it to a quick shop down the road. They hooked up their scanner, poked around, cleared the code, and handed him a bill for $150. $150. And you know what the problem was? Nothing. It was a stored glitch that had already fixed itself. They did 30 seconds of work and charged him a car payment for it. When he told me that story, I nearly dropped my coffee because I was about to teach him to do it himself in his own driveway for nothing. And that's exactly what I'm about to teach you. Now, before we even get to the hidden button, let me save some of you a whole lot of trouble right this second. Because there is one thing that trips this light more than anything else on the road, and it costs you absolutely nothing to fix. Your gas cap. I'm dead serious. A loose, cracked, or worn out gas cap is the single most common reason a check engine light comes on. When that cap doesn't seal up tight, your fuel system leaks vapor, a sensor catches it, and bang, the light comes on. It's not your engine, it's a $2 rubber seal. So before you do anything else, walk out to your car, take the gas cap off, and screw it back on until you hear it click 3 times. 3 clicks. If it's old and that rubber ring is cracked or hard, go grab a new one. They're about $10 at any parts store, and they'll match it to your car right at the counter. Do that, then reset the light with what I'm about to show you, and for a huge number of you, that light is gone for good. That's the whole fix. And a shop would have charged you a diagnostic fee just to say those same words. If that little tip alone just saved you a trip to the shop, do me one quick favor and tap that like button. It tells me these are worth making, all right? Now let's get to that hidden button, because this is where it gets good. Here's what's really happening inside your car, and once you get this, everything clicks. Your vehicle is run by a computer. We call it the ECU, and it's the brain of the whole operation. That brain is constantly watching dozens of sensors scattered all over your engine, checking everything hundreds of times a second. Now, sometimes one of those sensors sends back a weird reading. Maybe it was a one-time hiccup, a bad tank of gas from that cheap station, a little moisture in a connector on a cold, rainy morning, a sensor that glitched for a split second and then went right back to normal. But here's the thing, your car's brain doesn't know it was a one-time fluke. It saw something it didn't like, so it flips on the check engine light, stores a code in its memory, and that light just sits there glowing at you. Long after the actual hiccup is over and gone, the light stays on. It's not always telling you something is broken right now. Sometimes it's just remembering something that already passed. And this is the part that'll make you a little angry. A whole lot of shops know this. They know a big chunk of check engine lights are just a stored glitch that already resolved itself. But you don't know that. So you come in worried, they plug in the scanner, they clear the code, the exact same thing I'm about to teach you to do for free, and they hand you a bill for $150. For 30 seconds of work you could have done in your driveway, that's not a repair, that's a toll they charge you for information you didn't have. Well, after today, you're gonna have it, so let's get you that information. So where is this button? Here's the reveal. Your car's reset button is your battery, specifically the negative terminal on your battery. When you disconnect that terminal for a short time, you cut the power to the ECU. The brain forgets its stored glitch, the light goes out, and the whole system reboots itself fresh, exactly like restarting a frozen computer or turning a glitchy phone off and back on. That's it. That's the hidden button. It's been under your hood the entire time, and nobody ever told you. Now let me walk you through doing it right step by step, because there's a safe way and a sloppy way, and I want you doing the safe way. First, turn your car all the way off. Take the key out, and if you've got a push button start, set the fob a few feet away so the car goes completely to sleep. Pop the hood, find your battery. It's usually a rectangular box off to one side of the engine bay with 2 thick cables clamped onto 2 posts sticking up out of the top. Look closely at those posts. One has a plus sign stamped next to it, that's your positive. One has a minus sign, that's your negative. You only need to touch the negative one, the minus. It usually has a black cable and sometimes a little black cap over it. Grab a wrench, most cars use a 10 millimeter, and loosen the nut on that negative clamp. You don't have to take it all the way off. Just loosen it enough that you can wiggle the clamp up and lift it off the post. Then tuck that cable off to the side and rest it somewhere it can't flop back and touch the metal post. Here's a pro tip while you wait. Go press your brake pedal a few times. That drains the leftover electricity out of the system and gives you a cleaner reset. Now give it a solid 30 seconds to a minute. That right there is your 30-second reset. Then lift that cable clamp back onto the negative post, push it down snug, and tighten the nut back up. Close the hood, get in, and start the car. And that check engine light, gone. The brain woke up fresh, the stored glitch is wiped clean, and you just did the $100 shop job with one wrench in 1 minute. But hold on, because I told you right at the start, there's a moment when you should absolutely not do this. And now that you know how, this is the single most important thing I'll say in this whole video. So do not click away, because getting this part wrong is how people get burned. Here it is. Resetting the light does not fix a real problem. All it does is clear the stored code and reboot the brain. So if the reason the light came on was a genuine, ongoing fault, a failing part, an actual mechanical issue, the light is going to come right back on within a few minutes or a few days, because the sensor is still seeing the problem. And that, believe it or not, is a good thing. That's your car telling you the truth. That's your free test. Let me tell you about another customer, a lady named Maria. Her light came on, she reset it, just like I showed you, and it came right back the next morning. Now, a lot of people would panic and assume the worst, big engine repair, thousands of dollars, but because she reset it and it returned, she knew it was a real fault, not a glitch. So she got the code red, and you know what it was? A failing oxygen sensor. A $40 part she swapped herself in 20 minutes with a wrench. Light off, stayed off. If she'd never learned this, she might have handed a shop $500 and never known the difference. So think of it exactly like Maria did. You reset the light. If it stays off, great. It was a glitch or that gas cap, and you're done. No money spent. But if it comes right back, then you've got a real issue, and now you know it's real instead of guessing. And half the time it's something small and cheap like Maria's sensor. That's the difference between a glitch and a genuine fault, and you just diagnosed it for free in your own driveway. Now here's where I'll be straight with you, because I am not going to teach you to hide problems from yourself. If that light keeps coming back, do not just keep resetting it over and over and ignoring it. That's like ripping the batteries out of a smoke alarm while there's smoke coming from the kitchen. And whatever you do, don't reset it right before an emissions test to sneak through, because a fresh reset actually makes you fail that test anyway. The system needs time to run its checks. And don't reset it to hide a problem right before you sell the car to somebody, because that's how a person ends up stranded on the highway. Use this to clear glitches and to test whether a problem is real. That's the honest way, and honestly, it's the smart way too. So let's say the light does come back. I'm not gonna leave you hanging. Here's how to find out exactly what's wrong for free. Most big auto parts stores will read your codes for you at no charge at all. You drive in, somebody comes out with a little handheld scanner, plugs it into a port that's tucked under your dashboard near your knees, and it spits out a code that points to which system is complaining. Or, even better, buy your own basic code reader. You can get a simple one for $20 or $30, and honestly, every single driver should own one. You plug it in, it reads the code, and now you walk into any shop already knowing what's going on. Nobody can invent a problem you don't have when you've got the code sitting in your pocket. That little tool pays for itself the very first time you use it. And let me quickly take the fear out of a few of the codes you might see, because the scary sounding ones aren't always the expensive ones. If you see a code about the evap system, that's very often just that gas cap we already talked about. A code about an oxygen sensor like Maria's is usually a cheap part you can change yourself. A code about a mass airflow sensor often just means it needs a careful cleaning, not replacing. Now, a code that mentions a misfire, that one you take more seriously, because that's the engine not firing right and it points to spark plugs or coils. But even that is often a $100 fix, not $1,000. The point is, don't let the light scare money out of your wallet. Get the code and know what you're actually dealing with before anyone touches your car. Let me give you a couple quick heads ups on the reset itself too, so nothing catches you off guard. When you disconnect that battery, a few small things reset right along with the light, your clock, your radio presets, sometimes your power window auto up setting. No big deal, you'll just reset your clock and retune your stations. But here's one worth knowing. Some cars have a radio that asks for a security code after the battery's been disconnected. If yours is one of those, just make sure you know your radio code before you start. It's often printed in your glove box manual, or the dealer can pull it up for you with your VIN number. 2-minute thing to check, and it saves you a real headache. And here's one more warning, because this one is about your safety, not just your wallet. If your check engine light isn't glowing steady but is actually blinking, flashing on and off while you're driving, do not just reset it and carry on like nothing's wrong. A blinking light means an active, serious misfire happening right now, and it can burn up expensive parts fast, like that catalytic converter that costs over $1,000 to replace. That one needs to be looked at, not reset away. Steady light, you've got time to investigate calmly. Blinking light, take it seriously and get it checked soon. Now you know the difference, and that one piece of knowledge can save you thousands. Now here's a little bonus since you stuck with me this far, because there's actually a second hidden button in your car that most people have never touched, and it handles a completely different light. You know that little wrench symbol, or that service due, or oil change required message that pops up and nags you? That is not your check engine light, and it's not a problem at all. It's just a reminder timer counting down the miles. But when you get your oil changed at home or at a quick shop that forgets to reset it, that reminder just keeps nagging you every time you start the car. Here's how you clear it on a lot of vehicles. With the engine off, find the little button you use to reset your trip odometer. That small button or stalk right by your speedometer. Press and hold it down, and while you're holding it, turn the key to the on position, engine off, don't start it. Keep holding for about 10 to 15 seconds, and you'll usually watch that service message flash or count down and then reset itself back to 0. The exact steps vary from car to car, so search your specific make and model plus the words reset oil service light, but it's the same idea every time, a hidden button sequence the manufacturer just never bothered to teach you. And now that annoying reminder is gone too. Let me give you one last thing before we wrap, how to keep that check engine light off in the first place so you're not doing this every month. Keep that gas cap tight and replace it the moment the seal looks worn. Try to use decent quality fuel from stations you trust, because a bad tank is a common culprit. Stay on top of your spark plugs and basic maintenance, because a healthy engine trips fewer sensors. And don't ignore small problems. When they're small, that's when they're cheap. Do those simple things, and that dashboard stays dark and peaceful the way it should be. So let's bring this whole thing home. That check engine light is not the monster the shop wants you to believe it is. Before you spend a single dime, check your gas cap and click it 3 times. That alone fixes a shocking number of these. Then use your car's hidden reset button, the negative battery terminal, disconnect it, tap the brake, wait 30 seconds, reconnect it, and close the hood. If the light stays off, you just saved yourself a $100 diagnostic. And if it comes right back, that's your car telling you the truth. Go get the code read for free. And remember, Maria, because half the time it's something small and cheap. Steady light, you've got time. Blinking light, take it seriously. That is the whole game, and now you know it. You just learned something that a lot of people drive their entire lives never knowing, and something plenty of shops would honestly prefer you didn't. So before you go, hit that like button if this changed the way you see that little light, because it genuinely helps this reach more drivers who are about to overpay for nothing. And drop me 2 things in the comments. First, after you try the reset, come back and tell me, did your light stay off or did it come right back? Because that one answer tells you everything, and I read every single comment. Second, what do you want next? Should I show you how to read those codes step by step and what the most common ones really mean, or how to spot the exact sensors that trip this light the most? You tell me, and I'll build it for you. And subscribe, because I've got a whole garage full of these coming, the free fixes, the hidden buttons, and the honest truth the dealership will simply never tell you. Thanks for trusting me, and thanks for sticking with me all the way to the end. I'll see you in the next one.